I recently surpassed 100 shorts on my main channel, and a friend suggested I post a video showing how I make them. So here's one breaking down the entire process as I produce one. Hope you enjoy!
1.
I get my ideas in a variety of ways. Experience, curiosity, connections, and even by accident. Wait a second, there's water now. Valve actually fixed this soon after releasing my short, This Map Lost Its Water, but do you think they'll fix this hole right next to it? But most subjects come from an experience in map making, coupled with an eye for glitches and exploits. This short is going to be about how you can leave behind your props with the Table Tantrum and Crypt Keeper taunts. This happens to be something I found by accident while messing around on Dust Bowl.
2.
Depending on the subject, this stage can take a while. In The Darkest Thing, I didn't know why this prop was black until I learned it was flat, which admittedly took longer than it should have. And in The Glossiest Reflection, I tested out a bunch of material parameters before writing the script. For this short, I first discovered this weird behavior for the Table Tantrum taunt, so I spent some time looking into every taunt where I found the same thing for the Crypt Keeper.
3.
As someone who loves to write, this is one of my favorite parts. Once I've researched everything I need to know, I start writing the script. This can take anywhere from a few minutes to a couple of hours depending on the complexity of the subject. My more technical shorts usually take longer because I need to pick which information to include and figure out how to condense it to 1 minute. I did make a 2-minute short once, but I haven't done one since. This is the script for my current short. It only took me about 5 minutes to write, which is definitely on the shorter side. But this one isn't as technical, so I breeze through it pretty quickly. And I run a stopwatch on my phone while reading it to make sure it's roughly 1 minute.
4.
After finishing the script, I record the voiceover in OBS and pull the audio into Premiere Pro, making sure everything's spaced out nicely. Then I level the volume to -16 dB and remove pops, clicks, and any other inconsistencies in Adobe Audition. I sort of hate this step because it's just me fixing problems with my voice.
5.
Usually, while I'm writing the script, I'm picturing what'll play out in my mind. For example, in this short, I'm deciding to focus on the Crypt Keeper taunt because I thought about incorporating some funny face stabs. When I figure out what type of shot I want, I add a comment detailing things like the camera position, layout, acting, and transitions into other shots. I also specify whether a shot requires another person or something I can capture by myself with my laptop. I'll elaborate on this more when I get to filming.
A few moments later.
So I'm ready to start filming, and the first thing I'm gonna do is find the first shot that does not require a second person. Here, I have Blue Heavy runs up ramp toward camera in steel and stops at the top and looks down slightly. Yes, that's because he's gonna look down at the coffin in the next shot. Cool. So here I am loaded into steel with the Blue Heavy. Now for this shot, the camera is just me in spectator mode, and the Blue Heavy is being controlled on my laptop. So I've positioned the camera and the Heavy roughly where they're gonna be for the final shot. Now for this shot, I'm actually going to use a feature called Spec Track. So I'm gonna open the console, type Spec Track 3, and this is going to lock my camera onto the Heavy so that if I go to my second monitor and make him walk around, the camera is gonna track him. So I just spent an extra minute making sure that everything's lined up nicely, and I just wanted to show that a lot of the time I save the coordinates. So if I tab into this notepad here, you can see a list of many different coordinates across many different shorts. And for this one, I went ahead and saved the camera spot right now. And this is in case I need to go back and record it for whatever reason. And here's how it looks in Premiere Pro. So as you can tell, the aspect ratio is different from your normal video. Normal videos use a 16:9 aspect ratio, whereas YouTube Shorts use 9:16, specifically 1080p by 1920. Now I record in 2K 16:9, which allows me to actually access the edges of the image where you otherwise couldn't in a normal 16:9 video. I also have to scale up the video to 134 because if I leave it at 100, let me hide this, you can see it leaves these black bars at the top and bottom. And this isn't an issue because I record in 2K, so really no quality is lost. For this next shot, we are on a custom map called Day Testing that I created in Hammer. And if I actually tab into Hammer, I'd like to show you guys something. These are all of the little testing areas that I've created throughout my time making shorts. And this isn't actually all of them. I had a previous version that I had to switch from because it started getting a little too laggy, and judging by how many arenas and areas are on this one, that's probably gonna have to happen again pretty soon. And now I'm on to the shots that require a third person. So right now my main computer is recording, my second computer is that heavy over there, and for the third, I have a friend named Scooty who's acting as the spy. So what's gonna happen here is this heavy is gonna be spec tracked as he walks forward, and as soon as he gets to about right here, he's gonna get face stabbed by the spy. And here's how the clip looks in Premiere Pro. So here I am on another segment with Scooty, and for this one, I just thought it was so cool I wanted to share it. So when I crouch and punch like this, he's going to open the coffin just like that, but in the actual shot, it's going to be synchronized perfectly. And here's the final shot in Premiere Pro. Note that my voice will be cut out in the final short. Go. So I've made it to the last couple of shots for the video, and for this, I actually have two people helping me in addition to my laptop. So right now, my laptop is controlling the heavy, Scooty Man is controlling the coffin, my main computer is the camera, and this spy is my friend Pan Man. And here's how it looks in Premiere Pro. Again, ignore the audio cues. Pan Man. So for this, I'm actually going to splice it. And as you can see, the spy does not cover the heavy and the coffin. So I'm actually going to move that part of the clip closer to when the coffin is open and heavy is punching it. So now I have everything recorded and I'm ready to edit, which happens to be my favorite part. And here's how it looks in Premiere Pro. So this bottom layer right here is just the scout walking up. This second layer is just the heavy. And this third layer provides a constant zoom. Putting it all together, this is how it looks. And of course, I'm gonna add an explosion. Much better. One thing I like to add sometimes whenever a merc dies is a little bit of a zoom in and out. So right now, if I play this clip as it is, the heavy just dies and that's it. So to make it a little more interesting, I've added a couple of adjustment layers here that zoom in and out very quickly. So let's look at it now. I think that's an improvement. Another way I like to use zoom is for emphasis. Let's take a look at this clip of heavy punching this coffin. But when I open the coffin, kind of boring, right? Let's add some zoom and see how it looks. But when I open the coffin, a lot better. And here's an example of where I can really benefit from the extra information on the sides. Here's how the clip looks by default, in case you're unaware. And here's how it looks with some keyframing. In case you're unaware, a lot more lively. Now that most of the editing is done, I'm gonna add in the subtitles. So for this, I'm gonna go to one of my previous shorts, copy the existing subtitles, paste them in here, and modify the text. For this short, I'm just doing 4 words. After getting face stabbed, at this point, I like to do the color grading, but unfortunately, I can't really show you that because this video is an SDR, whereas my shorts are an HDR. If I did try to show you, like right here, it's just gonna look all blown out and there's gonna be a bunch of gross clipping. So just trust me on this, it takes a while and I'd really try to make sure that I don't flashbang everybody. Now that most of the editing is done, it's time to do the audio. So if we listen to these couple of shots, it's not that bad, but I wished Heavy had a different scream on the second time. And I don't like how Scout's saying a voice line. So what I'm gonna do is extract the sounds from the game files or the TF2 wiki and add them in manually. And here's how it sounds now. Much better. I just finished doing all of the audio and now it's time to add the music. So I just found this funky song by Ziv Morin. I think that'll work, but there's a problem. The song is about 2 minutes long, whereas my short is only about 55 seconds. Let me show you how I fix that. Here I am in Adobe Audition with the music right here. What I'm gonna do is select this Enable Remix button and change the target duration to 55 seconds. So the music actually ended up being a little too long, but fortunately I can use this stretch to exact duration, and now it ends at approximately where the explosion begins. Where's the perfect opportunity for a counterattack? Perfect. And just like that, the short is done. And all that's left to do is export and upload it to YouTube. So be sure to watch that through the link in the description or pinned comment. Thanks for watching. This is LED switching off.